Okay, so here's our issue. We've got an older bathroom lavatory. This originally built in the 50s, and it was remodeled, almost 30 years ago. So 25 to 30 years ago. And now we want to replace the sink because the sink, the seal to the laminate top has been broken, and we think there's some swollen particle board under there, under the laminate top, and so we just would like to rip it all out. But this is not a conforming size for a vanity, which are typically 22 inches deep. This is at least 24 inches deep, so we got to get a little creative for what we want to do without spending a lot of money on it. So let's see if we can get it out of here without causing a lot of damage.
So as with many projects, you start out wanting to do one thing, replace a sink and countertop that's no longer functioning correctly, and you start saying, well, I might as well update the vanity with a fresh coat of paint and maybe add some new hardware so it doesn't seem so dated. When you look at this tiny bathroom, you can see that 1950s era green tile everywhere. It's always going to have that 50s feel with that tile, but maybe we can do some other things to give it a facelift. The tile is in good shape and I really don't want to get into replacing it. Now when this was updated in the 90s, we couldn't match that green tile after we broke a few while putting in the laminate countertop. So there was some darker forest green tile installed around the vanity and on the floor to try to set off the vanity from the rest of the bathroom. We're going to try to expand on that more modern green look in this facelift. But the key is I've got to get that countertop out without breaking more green tiles.
Okay, so now we have gotten the old sink out. You can see there was a lot of rust around the rim. I think that's what was causing the problem in terms of keeping it level on the countertop. Put new shutoffs on the water lines to cap them off while we work on trying to remove this laminate countertop without damaging as few of the tiles that are in place as possible. It looks like there was some construction adhesive used here on some of the supporting 2x4s underneath, so we're going to have to just try to take it out piecemeal. I was going to cut it in the middle here where there's already an opening and see if I can pull each end out, pull it out toward the center, and then loosen. Maybe have to use the oscillating tool to break loose some of the bonds here between the laminate surface or the particle board and the supporting structure underneath. So we'll see how it goes.
Tile. There you go. That's what my dad put glue everywhere. He put glue everywhere.
Now what you just saw there was probably not the best way to separate that countertop into two pieces. I did end up cracking one tile with the pry bar as I was getting frustrated. But after cutting through all of the liquid nails holding it down, I was able to pull out each section without further damage. I decided to replace it with a hardwood solid birch countertop, which I could cut to size using ordinary tools that I have on hand. I ruled out granite as too expensive as a special order and not something I could easily handle on my own. Solid surface and marble vanity tops also would be special order for the dimensions that I needed. But hardwood, stained in walnut, would be a sharp contrast with a white china drop-in sink.
Here's our backsplash cut to size
We fit it into the hole, propped it up, and it looks pretty good. Looks like it'll fit that spot pretty good. With our scrap, we're just going to simulate what the countertop will be like here when we get it in here. And it covers up that hole where we don't have any tile. On this side, also, we'll be able to caulk in there. I think we'll be okay. So, looks pretty good. We had about 1 inch that we used some scrap to lift up that. So, to lift it up, it'll be covered. Now, some might say, why have a wood countertop in an area that's going to get wet? That's nuts. That's what I thought too, but I saw on the Agent Orange website that it can be done, and it looks good with the right stain and, of course, top coats. I bought the stain that the countertop manufacturer recommended. It goes on pretty thick, so you have to wipe it down quickly if you want to see the wood grain. The manufacturer also says to put at least 3 coats of the satin top coat to protect from water and splashes. We did at least that. Stain and seal every exposed area of wood, which I did, including the hole you cut out for the sink. So here's the finished product after the 3rd coat of satin sealer over the stain, and really looks good. I can't emphasize enough the importance of sanding in between those top coats, the satin sealer coats, and I use the sanding sponge that they recommend, and it seems to work out really nice. We got rid of the oak face on the vanity cabinets and drawers by painting them white with new hardware. We also bought a new mirror with a walnut frame to match. Combine that with a fresh coat of paint on all of the walls and ceiling, and forest green paint on all of the trim, and it made for a decent, low-cost facelift.
Yes, we have a working faucet. New faucet, new fixture.
I even found a nice blind on sale in the 50s era green to replace an outdated curtain on the window. So here's the before, and now the after. I hope you found this mildly entertaining.